Hi there, Kar Yong here, and welcome back to another weekly market update, right? So as usual, we'll walk you through some of the interesting things that I'm personally monitoring and to give you an overview of what's potentially some setups, opportunities that you might want to consider moving forward, right, in the week ahead. Okay, so without further ado, I'll jump straight into my screen to show you, some of the articles, some of the market opportunities. But before we do that, right, would really appreciate if you can actually like this video, subscribe to my channel, and eventually, if you feel that such video here is able to benefit you and help more traders, would really appreciate if you can share this video out with your network of traders and investors too. So with that, let's go to my screen and I'll show you what we are looking out for. Okay, so first thing over here, we'll talk about the Hong Kong market first. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you're probably still be following through like the China lockdown in terms of crackdown, right? Not lockdown. The China crackdown on some of the tech and education companies, right? It's definitely still ongoing. It's not like it's done. So personally, I still feel that there's a huge amount of risk if you're looking to invest directly into China market or Chinese related stocks. Okay. However, if you're really interested to get some exposure to perhaps some of the emerging markets closer to China, okay, or even Asia, then over here perhaps what's more, I would say, safer in a way is definitely looking at Hong Kong or even Japan, right? So looking at Hang Seng or the Nikkei. Okay, so the idea you can see over here, just to share a view on this article, right? Shares in Hong Kong definitely also being affected due to China crackdown. Okay, so recently it has dropped quite a bit. Okay, later on in this video, I'll show you some of the technical analysis on Hang Seng as well. And from there, you will see, what are some of the interesting opportunities available in this market. Right. The other one that's interesting for you to keep an eye on is of course cryptocurrencies. So the title of this article, you can see asset managers rush to file application for Bitcoin futures ETF. Going forward, right, I think you should already start to observe there's a lot of interest coming into crypto. Okay, and of course that also increases the government regulations and things like that regarding this industry over here, and it's not easy, right? And the part here is there risk? Will this be guaranteed or certainly the future in terms of crypto? Very difficult to say, right? But what we can really see right now is there's a lot of interest coming in, right? Not only from a retail end, but I would say funds are also looking at that. Okay, so definitely if you would like to get some exposure in the crypto market, Bitcoin being like the grandfather, quote unquote, of crypto, okay, that's definitely the crypto asset that you really want to look out for, right? We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart later on to share with you a little bit from the technical perspective as well. Okay, and I think the most important article of all, I would say the most important event that happened last week is actually Jackson Hole, the whole event, and then the entire market is basically looking towards what the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is gonna say. Okay, is he gonna announce a timeline for tapering, or is he gonna be like what he usually do, very dovish, gonna push back and keep saying that things are still uncertain and things like that. Okay, so we did see Jerome Powell doing what he usually do, which does not really give us a real I would say direct timeline as to when the Fed is gonna kickstart its tapering process, right? A lot of traders are anticipating that they will do it by September. Okay, I mean, announce it out clearly when it's gonna start by September. But after the Jackson Hole speech, right, this was actually pushed back. Okay, and you do observe that this effect here has pushed the dollar lower as of Friday. And of course, the equities market also shoot up and beat all-time high, right? So we'll definitely look into the charts on dollar index as well as S&P. Okay, but just wanted to give you a very quick kind of like summary, okay, of some of the interesting events that happened last week. Okay, so with that, let's move into the charts to look up for some of the opportunities that you want to keep an eye on for the week ahead. Okay, so first up over here, let's take a look at the dollar index chart. Right over here, you see is DXY on the 4-hour time frame. Last week we did mention that there's a good chance that dollar would look at a reversal or rejection to the downside. Okay, and then of course couple that with the dovish tone from Jerome Powell. Okay, that actually sent the dollar weaker as of Friday as well. Okay, now if we were to take a look at the technical point of view going into next week, there's a very good chance that the momentum would probably follow through in the dollar, and we're going to continue to see some weakness. Potentially, it might continue all the way down towards this previous low of this entire piece of structure. Okay, which will bring us somewhere towards maybe about $92 for DXY. Okay, so the opportunity is definitely there, and the direction you might want to pay a little bit more attention is perhaps to look for any sell setup on the dollar. Alright, so that's on the DXY perspective. If I bring you to perhaps the gold side first, the commodities. Last week, weekly video, right, we also mentioned about gold potentially hitting higher, right, around 1832. We are almost there. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you actually kind of like took this opportunity, right? If you do, okay, drop me in the comments below this video here and say that you actually be involved in gold, right? I am, together with silver as well. I'm in both of these commodities, right? So right now, what's the update on gold? I think the overall direction, nothing has really changed. We're still expecting it to perhaps hit 1832. I think the momentum will probably follow through all the way until next week. However, when it comes up towards 1832, that's where you want to be very cautious. Okay, because you can see there are a few times it came out but did not manage to break through. Okay, but for me, I'm fundamentally and of course long-term bullish on the precious metal market. So I'm definitely looking for more upside after 1832. Okay, but of course we do expect some kind of perhaps a consolidation, a retracement when it hits that zone. Okay, so pretty clear cut on gold. Okay, I think for next week, probably you're gonna just focus on more upside from here, and just pay attention to 1832. Okay, in terms of the equities market, the market actually closed off 4500s last Friday, again breaking new high. This is pretty much similar to Nasdaq and Dow Jones as well. Okay, and that's not surprising, right? Because if the Fed is gonna, Jerome Powell specifically is gonna be holding on a dovish tone and not really bring up a specific timeline as to when they're gonna do tapering, it continues to mean that they are gonna be printing money, right? And that we're gonna be increasing the money supply, and every month that's a current rate of 120 billion. That would then flow into equities market being one of them and continue to prop up the market, right, pushing the prices higher as well. Okay, so going into next week, that's a good chance that equities market are going to continue to see more upside. In terms of like how long, how much it can go, it's really hard to say, and it's just anyone's best guess because there's really no perhaps previous resistance, right? It's really at an all-time high. Okay, so if you're looking at equities market, definitely I think at least for the week to come, okay, there's still more upside that you can really focus on. Okay, just now I did mention about the Hang Seng index, right? So let's take a quick look at that. Okay, let me bring you to the Hang Seng chart. Okay, so if you take a look at this, of course recently we did see Hang Seng drop, and there's a mini sell-off as well due to China crackdown. But Hang Seng is a little bit interesting compared to like China market. Okay, to me, if I want to get some exposure in the Asia market, just like I mentioned, right, two markets here, Hang Seng and Japan Nikkei. Okay, so both of these are setting up very nicely for the week to come. Okay, so if you take a look at the 4-hour scale on Hang Seng, we do have this double bottom formation. Okay, and we did see a mini rejection, and so far it's doing kind of like consolidation. So my view over here on the Hang Seng is that as long as price continue to maintain above 24850, Okay, there's a good chance we might see Hang Seng starts to move higher. And if that were to happen, you can see that the upside is definitely very interesting to keep an eye on, because there is a lot of room that market can go. Okay, this is even just a tiny bit, right? If that were to break off this high, you can see where this can potentially head towards, okay, potentially towards that previous high. And of course, if that happens to be broken, that opens up to all-time high as well. Okay, so definitely interesting, right? Of course, if you're not familiar with indices, you're not familiar with Asian markets, then you might not want to touch it, right? This is just an idea, an opportunity, okay, to bring your attention towards it. Okay, and over here, the last one to talk about in this particular video to keep you guys updated, okay, it's Bitcoin, right? So we mentioned that institutions are definitely getting in. Okay, institutions are interested. There are demand coming in for crypto, specifically on Bitcoin. Okay, so from a technical point of view, I think you want to be a little bit patient as the week starts to really see how market is going to react from here, because as of today, right now, you can see we are breaking off this flag pattern. Okay, but this can easily transit back down first before that push up to form even a bigger flag, right? So the part here is there are few possibilities of how price can still develop. Okay, because this can still be kind of like a diagonal where this can go up a little bit and still come back down towards 43800 before that push, right? So if you're a little bit conservative, I would say a better level to consider perhaps accumulating or buying into Bitcoin is somewhere around 43,800. Okay, which you wait for this to come back down a little bit. However, if you like to stack up a little bit of different positions at different price point, you can consider to look out for first position here as well, because this can still break and keep going higher. Okay, the only part you want to be a little bit cautious on is really that this can develop into kind of like a diagonal pattern like that, and there's a good chance that we might still see. Okay, let me bring in the arrow. From here, this can still come back down before that perhaps long-term push to the upside. Okay, so just be cautious on that, and understand that in the market there's nothing certain 100%. Okay, there's nothing 100%. So you need to always be prepared on the various scenarios that can develop and how you're going to respond to those different scenarios. Okay, so I hope this week video here does give you a quick summary of what has happened in the past week. Of course, that's not the only events, but to me, those are the more interesting and important events that you might want to know of. Okay, and of course, to also share with you some opportunities that you want to keep an eye on for the week ahead. Okay, so again, if you enjoy something like that, would really appreciate it if you give a thumbs up to this video. Okay, drop your comments below as well. Share with me what are some of the things you're looking out for the week ahead. Okay, or if let's say this video actually helped you, benefited you in some way, feel free to share how it has benefited you. Okay, that would really inspire me to keep doing this, and of course also share with me like how I can actually work on to improve some of these videos here for you guys. Okay, so that's all for me in this video here. All the best, and I'll see you guys real soon again.